Getting pinned or pin risk is one of the worst things that can happen to us option sellers, us that love running the wheel strategy. And the sad part is most option sellers don't even know what pin risk is. And in today's video, we're going to be covering it and the big risks, and most importantly, how we can best avoid getting pinned. So let's go over the shoulder, guys. Also, every single person that comments down below is also going to get the full pin risk ebook guide. So if you want that, no strings attached whatsoever, just drop a comment down below on today's video. I'll personally give that to you. And also, while you're down there, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow more than you know. So let's get into a hypothetical example, and we'll just use SoFi, one of our crowd favorites, one of my most traded stocks of this year. And I'm going to go and head over to SoFi, okay? And I'm just a normal individual, just somebody getting into the wheel strategy. And you know what? I'm going to start doing some weeklies, right? I'm going to start doing some weeklies on SoFi, and I'm just going to go out about, let's just say, 8 days to January 16th, okay? And right here, I'm going to select my strike price. So if you don't know what I'm doing right now, I'm basically saying I'm willing to buy 100 shares of SoFi at on close at January 16th if it hits a certain price, okay? Now I get to name my price. That's the great part about being an option seller. And let's say I am cool with, the 26s. I even like it at, 27. I want to kind of lower my cost basis, whatever your thesis is. We take a look at Delta. Delta's at 31, a little bit aggressive, but 70% chance of not getting assigned, 30% chance of getting assigned at 26. Okay, let's take a look at the premium, right? What kind of premium we're collecting here? About $50 of premium. We go to our cash secured put calculator. Let me zoom in here a little bit here to show you guys. So we're collecting $50 of premium. We're locking up, $2,600, because 26 times 100 shares. One contract equals 100 shares. If you don't know, that is the rules. So we're locking up $2,600, and we're locking that up for, let's just say, those 8 days till next Friday, running a weekly here and we're collecting just under 2% return on collateral. We think we are geniuses. We are making 2% on our money in 8 days. How sweet is that? Okay. So, those high yield savings accounts have nothing on us, right? So how am I collecting that number? Just to make sure everybody is on the same page, $50 divided by 2,600. That's what you're locking up to maybe buy your shares, right? And you collect about a 2% return on your collateral, okay, in about an 8-day period, okay? So what are the situations? What is pin risk? How does it work in a situation like this? Okay. So first and foremost, right? Ideal situation for most people, they just want to walk away with the premium and not get assigned, right? So let's knock out that one right out of the gate. Let's say on the 16th at close, right? SoFi is trading above $26, right? It's trading at 27, 28, 29, right? Fantastic. It's obviously not trading at 26, and you simply walk away with that premium. Okay. And then also, if those of you that ask, you can get all of my premium calculators right here, my 2 premium calculators, as well as my full trade log template that you can keep yourself nice and organized in the first link in the description of today's video. Okay. You can go pick that up for yourself at the end of that Ark Options workshop. I give that to you along with 90 minutes of training on the Ark Options strategy. But with that said, what is pin risk? Because pin risk more so refers to if we are closer to the money. Here's the big thing, right? At close, right? Just because it's, the market's closed, right? There is still an hour for you to be assigned. That's big. Right? You know why that's important? You know why that's very important, right? Let's go take a look at another quick stock. And now this is going to be a purely hypothetical example, right? But I want to show you guys what can happen here, right? So if I go to CVX right here, Chevron, right? These things have been actually, let's go. This is a better example, especially with what's going on with some of the defense stocks, right? Let's just pretend for a quick example, okay, here that Northrop last night dropped massively to down 5%, right? That was a huge jump, right? And let's say you did have, a cash secured put that was going to be expiring around like 576, right? Well, if that happened to you, right? And let's say this event like happened after, I'm trying to like make a point here, and I think in a minute, as I explain it, it'll make more sense to you here. Is let's say that it closed, right? Let's say Northrop closed around 577, and you had a put at like 576, okay, like 576, right? And you didn't close out your put, okay? Let's say you didn't close out your put, right? Well, if you didn't, and let's say not continue to drop further, right? Even in the pre-market after hours trading, you still have basically 1 hour to get assigned on your contract. Okay, you still have that. So, and this happens often. Now, of course, Knock came back and had an amazing, whatever. This flip flopping is insane with the volatility. What's with the defense sector? What happened the past 2 days? But with that said, you might think, oh, I dodged a bullet, fam. Whew. I had my 576 puts expiring. I'm waking up this morning, right, and I'm not getting assigned. Well, guess what? Let's say it did continue to drop a little bit further, or right? You're the person on the other end, right? Decided, you know what? I'm scared. I'm going to exercise my contract, right? Then you are still getting assigned. But here's where it gets a little bit crazier, because even in that situation, let's say you did have your 576 puts and you got assigned at 576, okay, and it's still staying flat for the most part. Okay, you're not going to be that beat up about it, right? Because you're still at 577 or 576, and you could do your covered calls for your weeklies or monthlies and move on with your life. But here, especially with high volatility stocks, is where this can be a big issue. And this is a big risk, especially with companies like SoFi. Even I will say that. I love trading SoFi. It is my favorite stock to be running the Ark Options Strategy on, really the wheel strategy right now on, because there's no dividend on this thing. But where this can be a big issue is, let's say at the close on, what is this expiration date? January 16th, right? Let's say on January 16th, right? At close, we are right at, let's say we're right at the money. It's like 26.10, right? We close at, right? And let's say like 15 minutes after close, right? Some news, right? Which we love the absolute news in this environment. Some news drops, right? 5 seconds later, right? Let's say SoFi drops to 20. This isn't unheard of, guys. We see this all of the time, right? And this happens on a Friday, right? And you wake up on Monday assigned at $26, right? For a stock that is only worth $20, let's say, maybe even worse. Let's say it's 19 and continue to drop over the weekend and opens at 19. That is called getting pinned. That is you, right, not being a smart option seller. How do we fix this situation? Okay. And I'm being long-winded here for a reason, because this happens a lot to people, right? Especially in the markets that we are in right now, where volatility comes out of the blue. And the reason I showed you like Knock, or even if you look at Lockheed right now, look how quickly even the defense, even look at the energy stuff that happened earlier this week. How quickly, literally headline, boom, boom, back and forth, right? Like, it's insane. Now, I want to say this in like a high level. Does it actually matter if you get assigned at 26 of a stock that you love and that dropped to 19? I don't think anybody would be happy about that, even if you love SoFi at 26. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like some of us, what we call it cope. We call that coping, right? And trust me, I got some cope stocks on me, right, as well. I do, right? But with that said, right, we obviously don't want to be getting assigned at 26 when the stock is only valued at 19. So what is the quick and easy solution to this, Pete, that you might be asking? Close your dang positions out. Right. I know this was super long-winded to get this point across, but sometimes something like this has to happen to you for you to take it seriously. I get these questions all the time, especially from people in our OSS mastermind and our community members and from you guys is, Pete, do you baby your cover calls as much as you can baby your cash secured puts? Like, which do you close out earlier and others? Cash secured puts take number one priority for me. I am closing that thing out as quickly as possible once I capture as much premium as possible. I call it the 50% rule, right? My 50% rule. Right, if within a day or two, or really the first 5-6 days of a 30-day DTE options contract, I will close out my position, capture my 50% premium, and redeploy into a different opportunity. Right, especially on volatile stocks, because I know how quickly they can jump around here for us. Right, but here's how you avoid this specifically on your Friday expiration. Right, let's say with this stock right here. Right, and then we'll say, okay, let's say this happened to you being a newbie, right? This happened, right? But let's say instead at Friday, an hour before close, 2 hours before out close, 3 hours before close, you're playing real close to the money. And let's say you can pay back, I don't know, $5, right, of premium. We'll just say five, right, $5 of premium to close out your contract here. Now you might be thinking in your head, but Pete, that's like 10% of my premium almost. Like, I don't want to give that. I want to capture it, right? Maybe you got a total of like whatever. Let's just say, even if it was 10, right? Like, even if it was $10, and because you're playing close to money, it'll be a little bit more expensive a few hours before close. And let's say your total premium collected on the trade was like 50. You might be thinking like, Pete, I'm not giving up that much collateral right now I could just let it go and just let it go to expiration. This is the fallacy. This is where you are picking up pennies in this sense, maybe a few bucks, and potentially adding a lot of risk to your current setup. Okay. In this situation, I would still close it out and I would still net out with my 40 premium. So tell me, who made out better? The guy in this situation that paid back a little bit of money to take that risk off the table, to take the chips off the table, or this guy that captured, sure, his $50 of premium, right, fully. He captured his full $50 of premium, but now he is assigned a stock at 26 that is only valued at 19. I know I'm being dramatic here, but this is a real situation, and this does happen to lots of people, and it happens all of the time, right? So in my personal opinion, my setups, the way I like to do things is I will always close out my cash secured puts no matter what. I almost never, if on the day of, I will never almost ever, especially through a weekend, ever let go my shares go to expiration and it just expire worthless. All right, especially on more kind of like the high flying stocks, because it's just not worth, right, giving back a little bit of that premium, taking your chips on the table. Remember, we're setting ourselves up as the house, right? Not the degenerate gambler that's just trying to scrape every single dollar, right? We are managing our risk here, and that is what option selling done the right way, in my opinion, is all about. So if you want the full training on this, click the first link in the description. At the end of it, I'm giving you my full trade lock template as well as my 2 premium calculators that you can walk away with and start using. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.